Okay, let me not fuck this up right now.
All right.
So,
are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, start.
okay, so it's acidic vaginal liquid explosion generated by mass amounts of filthy fecal fisting and sadistic, septic, syphilic sodomy inside the infected, maggot-infested womb of a molested nun dying under the roof of a burning church while the priest watches and ejaculates over in immense perverse pleasure over his first fresh fetus. I fucked it up a bit. It's the hardest band name in the world.
Indeed it is. How are you doing, man? Nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you again too.
It was like around 2 years. You grew a little bit.
Yeah.
Like 2 centimeters. So,
well, that's cool. I didn't notice, but I'm possibly.
Indeed. Listen, this is the first tour for your band right now,
Yeah.
Xavleg.
It is. This is the first ever tour. Before this, we played one show in Germany at Death Feast, which was our first show ever. Then we played at Fall in the Brawl in the UK. And now it's our first tour. So it's been amazing. I can't believe the response. To get this kind of response from a band that was started as a joke, and we were just like, this is a brilliant idea at the time, but we never knew it could ever kind of be the thing it is now.
How did this even happen? I mean, you know, you got a few projects here and there that kind of just start off as a joke, you know, and then all of a sudden things start happening. But what was the journey for you? I mean, you started back in, when did you start back actually?
Well, so the band Xavleg started in 2015 when me and Duncan were living together. We basically when I joined Vulvodynia, we were making a lot of music together. We started 2 bands at the time called Novectomy and Vomit Cake, and they were like they were meme bands as well. The Novectomy, first of all, was a band that we literally recorded in like a weekend, and we try to make it as bad as possible and as slam as possible because we just wanted to make the most true slam record we could ever make. And we pitch shifted the snare up like so high, so it was like ding 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 ding, and just yeah, it was basically a joke, and that's what started this whole thing for us. We're like, okay, we love making this funny comedy music, and then we started Vomit Cake, which was a project that didn't last very long, but it kind of set the basis for what Xavleg is. We named the band after a Filthy Frank video, which was titled Vomit Cake, and so that was a meme in itself, and we would name the songs like the Dark Lord Chin Chin, which is like a character in Filthy Frank's universe, and just like rat fucker.
This is art, man.
Yeah, and it was always just a joke to us, and we loved making this joke music, but Vomit Cake didn't really get anywhere, and because of our I think just our artwork and how brutal everything was, we couldn't get the band out there because we couldn't boost any posts. Facebook was like, fuck you guys, you're too...
Oh shit, no shit, you got like, what, censored over there?
Yeah, we got censored. We couldn't boost anything because I think of our name. The Vomit Cake video had gone so viral that on Facebook and YouTube and stuff, you can't actually get that video there. It's been taken down. Because it's so brutal, I guess. And but then anyway, we were like, okay, we did Vomit Cake for an EP, and then we were like, okay, well, we like doing this joke thing, but let's actually make a band this time that's like something that we think is gonna go viral and do really well. And we always have these crazy ideas, so we never stopped. It's like we didn't start one band and then kind of like be like, okay, this is the ultimate band, we need to continue this. We were just like starting as many projects and seeing what worked and didn't work. It was kind of like trial and error. And then next thing, this was while Vulvodynia was kind of like blowing up in the slam scene. We hadn't even done our first European tour yet, but me and Duncan were living together, and I was like, we need to do this band because Duncan was working as a mechanic at the time, and he had just been robbed of all his things with his girlfriend, and it was just like he was living in a horrible situation in the small tiny room in this horrible area full of crime, and I was like, we need to make the band work. and we need to just make music work so you don't have to live like this.
This is absolutely fascinating. Usually you do something like this for entertainment purposes, and then it just stays a hobby. It doesn't develop anywhere else. But if you have like the proper amount of pressure, which obviously you guys do over there in South Africa, then magic starts happening. Magic meaning you start really getting your act together and start working on stuff. Now, whatever that is, like your main band or this here.
But the funny thing, this all started as like jokes, or like Vulvadinia, for example, was started by Luke and Duncan, and I went to music school with Luke, and he would come like to college with his phone and be like, dude, I just found this amazing vocalist, you need to hear his gutturals. And then he would show me this recorded on a BlackBerry phone, and it just sounded like and I was like, how do you trust this dude? How are you trusting this dude to make music with him? You can't hear shit out of these recordings. He's like, trust me, I'm going to meet him at his house in Joburg and we're going to make music. So I didn't take Luke seriously for a while with this band. And then later on, when the band started doing well, I was like, wow, this is fucking sick. And then the band wanted to start playing live and become like a proper thing. That's when I joined. And then I started writing music with the band and everything. But the band, I don't know if it was ever started to be the thing it is now. It was just started as like, let's start a band. I think your gutturals are sick. You're not in a band anymore. I think your riffs are sick. And it just developed from there. And then from me and Duncan living together, we kind of saw what was working with Vulvadinia and how to do things. And that's when we started Xavleg, and we call it Xavleg for short, by the way. It's
no shit, thank you very much for this.
We call it Xavleg, and that's when we started Xavleg. And we were like, okay, we're gonna do everything we've done with Vulvadinia, but try make it a meme and try just make this shit blow up, because we needed to make music work in our lives. And it wasn't like us trying to sell out or anything like that. It was literally like, we have this brilliant idea and we think it's gonna work, so let's just fucking try it out, see what happens. And we tried it out. Next thing, it went viral on YouTube. It's got like almost 1.8 million views now, and that was kind of what made the band, just that viralness that went with the name. And a lot of meme pages now have just shared us, because you can Google our name and it comes up as a real band, and people just think that's so funny. So it's like amazing. And I've never taken this band so seriously when writing music and stuff. That's why our last album has like 23 songs, because I write music a lot, and I write so many songs for like just myself and everything, and they go nowhere. So we're like, let's just take all these songs I've written. So the band's actually with another dude called Byron, who used to be in Vulvadinia, and he produced all the Vulvadinia stuff in the past up until our latest album, Mob Justice. And he's in Xavleg. He quit Vulvadinia quite a while ago, because he was like, guys, you are doing so well and you don't need me anymore. It's time to move on. Xavleg's kind of where my passion lies, because I like making the comedy metal and all of that. So we've got Byron involved in that, and he produced both of our EP and our album. And he writes half of the songs and I write half of the songs. But now Luandile, our new guitarist who plays live with us on the next album, he's going to be writing as well, and he's an amazing musician. And yeah, I think this band is just forming into something amazing, because on the first EP it was just Duncan, Byron and me. Second EP, it was Duncan, me, Byron and Lucas from Stillbirth. He did vocals on a couple songs. And yeah, now the newest stuff is going to be with Luandile, hopefully Martin, our drummer, playing drums, Lucas, our bassist, playing bass. We got a full band now, so we want to do it for real this time. Last time we just had like programmed drums and all of that, and our drummer can actually play the shit, so we want to actually...
for real?
For real. He even surprises himself. He's like, shit, I got that part last night. What the fuck? I didn't know I could do that. So it's awesome being able to play with musicians who can nail your shit, and it sounds amazing. And I would really like to record an album with real drums and actually get a different producer besides Byron. Byron is amazing, but he's in the same boat. He's like, we need someone next level for this next album. So
right.
we kind of in the process of working on that and kind of scheming how are we going to lay it out, and
Well, world domination schemes.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fine.
world domination, that was the plan since the beginning.
But man, it's absolutely astonishing that this actually works. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, how many bands are there out there? Literally millions. Like, there's like this 1% that kind of makes it a bit, and then a
No.
tenth of a 1% that's kind of coming around, and then you do this.
I know.
Like, really, from the passion. But then again, before we go any further with this, the actual motivator for you was surviving, essentially, right?
It was. We knew that music was our passion, and we knew it was what we wanted to do for the rest of our lives. And we were just like, fuck. For me, for example, after 9th grade, I left school and went to music school, and I finished basically normal school and studied music at the same time. So by the time most people finished school, I already had like a qualification in music, and I had studied and all of that. So since I was 11 years old, I kind of knew that music was all I wanted to do. And then when I found Duncan, it was like really like I found someone who was as interested in being a musician and doing this for real as I was. And I think just us being so motivated together and just working every day to make this work because we had to, because I was literally like, let's make the band work, move next door to me, it's available, and we'll work together to make rent happen and all of that. And
Crap, dude.
yeah, so we did it, and it was rough in the beginning, but it's getting better and better. And now I had to quit my job, and we touring full time, and literally almost every month this year we've been touring. So
Yeah, that would be actually my next question. I mean, this has less to do like with Xavleg, but like with you as a person, and obviously Duncan, who's kind of there all the time. I mean, full-time extreme metal musician. I mean, what the fuck?
From South Africa, which
From
makes
South
it
Africa, even worse, man.
Yeah, so I don't, like, honestly, as someone who grew up wanting to be a professional musician, I did not think that I was going to be a professional musician in the brutal death metal realm. That was a pleasure and passion of mine at home, but you never think, like, could I actually make a living off of this? Could I do this for real? It just doesn't make sense in the beginning. But then when you do something stupid and it works, and then you're like, fuck, what's going on? You just have to kind of go with it. And I couldn't be happier. Like, playing in a band like this with it's very ADHD, because we go from like death metal to country parts, and I feel like as a guitar player I get bored doing the same thing over and over. So being able to do my metal thing but still get the freedom to do whatever the fuck I want and make a joke out of it, it just resonates with everything inside of me. It's like, I don't take life seriously. Everything's a joke to me. I love death metal. I love horror movies. I love the evil side of things. I got fucking tattoos of the devil all over me. Not because I'm satanic, just because I think evil shit is cool. Like you were saying earlier, we had a conversation earlier, and we were saying like, yeah, there's some places in Europe that are like the cool kind of evil. Not like the fucking murder and rape type of evil that you get in South Africa, but like the fucking sick type of evil you get pleasure out of. I think people forget evil can be fucking amazing.
Very entertaining, indeed.
Yeah, it can be entertaining and make you feel a certain way. It makes you, like, I feel like if you watch a band and you're like, this is so evil, you feel powerful. It's like, it's not a negative feeling. I know that word has a lot of negative connotations attached to it, evil, but I think there's a lot of things within being evil and like representing that sound that is very positive, and it brings...
Now you're bullshitting.
No, I'm not. Seriously, like, we've got songs that are about Satan and go into reggae parts because we're like, we can do whatever we want, and people laugh when we play the reggae parts because it's a joke. So it's bringing this evilness into more of like a positive, funny light, and I just love that vibe. It's entertainment. It's nothing else. It's just we're creating a product and art, and the way we want people to kind of perceive it is this like over the top, brutal, next level thing, but we need people to know we're not taking ourselves seriously while writing it, because if we were taking ourselves seriously, it would be a bit fucked up.
That was a fun show, bro. Definitely one of the best shows of the tour so far.
Nice big stage and everything.
By the way, interview with this band, the link is over there.
Swag tongue!
This is like the first tour with your band, and you're done pretty much soon in like, I think, like a week or 10 days or something
No,
like that.
I think we just hit halfway in the tour, and it's a 19-day tour in total. I think we've done 10 days. So
That's totally the half, dude.
yeah, so we've got another 9 days, I think, or 8 days or something like that. And it's been great. Like, this has been one of my favorite tours ever, just because of the people I'm with. Everyone's kind of...
But it's also a weird connection that you got. I mean, you got the guys from Stillbirth right now,
Yeah.
like two of them there, right?
Three
of them in one.
Yeah,
All right.
so how that happened was when we toured Europe with Vulvodynia for the first time, we toured with Stillbirth and Obsolete Incarnation, which is both on this tour right now. And this is kind of like almost a repeat of our first Vulvodynia tour, just with our other band. And I always think it's crazy that we've got two bands that can actually tour Europe and make it work properly. It like... for most people, having one band is fucking hard enough. But we've got all these projects, and we try to do as much stuff as we can, because we realize that in the music industry, a lot of music is just disposable, and trends come and go, and we're not afraid of letting go of something if it's not working. That's why we started all those other bands in the beginning. And I think it was also important because we learned so much with every single band we started, and we saw what worked and didn't work, and something just clicked in the end. And now I've got two bands doing this shit, and it's just amazing.
Hey, what a weird timeline you must be living in.
Seriously, like if you had to tell like 16-year-old me that this was going to be my life, and the people I've met and the things I've done, I don't think I would have believed myself, because it's just been so crazy to meet my idols and be involved working with the people I've looked up to forever, you know, and to have these people feature on my songs and just kind of be interested in what I do. It's really fucked up, and I still feel like that same kid, and like slowly I'm realizing that people take me seriously as a musician, but on the inside I'm like, fuck, I'm just that kid from South Africa. How did I get here, you know? So it's crazy to look back and kind of realize what we've accomplished, because there's not, like, for example, for a South African band, it's not very common to tour Europe.
Yeah.
It's not very common to tour Europe multiple times a year, and it's not very common to do it in two different bands. So all of those things are like a 1% chance, and for some reason it's happened for us. So
Yeah, the reason is commitment, man. You know, as you said earlier on, you wanted to just kind of start off living off that stuff and pursuing that. Well, it's pretty cool, you know. And now, is there anything new that's gonna go on this year or maybe next year for Xavleg?
so unfortunately,
I mean, you can drop an EP anytime you want, right?
yeah, I guess so. We've got so many writers in the band now with Luandile. We want to get Gore 3.0 out. We've been talking about concept albums or concept EPs that might come before Gore 3.0. But right now we're touring so much that we don't have time to sit down and write and actually plan this properly. So I've asked everyone very nicely to give me a few months next year to write some music and kind of be able to work on writing, because it's great that we're touring so much, but you need some time to just work on your instrument and kind of work on your writing, and
Maybe even work on your sanity, dude.
yes, that's very fucking important. I think a lot of the time when you're touring, you're so distracted with everything that's happening around you, you kind of take everything that's happening in your life and put it in the background, and you don't really think about it. And when you get home, it all hits you at once, like, fuck, got all this work, my life, like, it's hard being in relationships when you're touring so much. It really isn't easy. So all the stuff is actually very conflicting in your brain, and you don't realize it until a certain point, and it can get you to a place where you could almost have a mental breakdown because you're fucking working yourself so hard. But this is all we've ever wanted to do, and we're living our dreams. And for anyone out there who wants to do this in their lives or is doing this, I'm sure you understand. It's not easy. For those of you who don't know, touring is not luxurious. We see mostly highways and venues, and we get sometimes the venue is located in the perfect spot where we can go for a little walk and have an adventure. But other than that, it's not a holiday. It isn't paradise. It's fucking the hardest work you would ever imagine. It's like going to a job and not coming home for 3 weeks. Instead of going from 9 to 5 and then going home, you just don't go home for 3 weeks. And then you get a lot of time at home to reflect and kind of, well, not anymore. I feel like now I'm so busy that I don't even get home and have time to reflect, because as soon as I get home, I'm doing a tour with ex Guns N' Roses guitarist, Sons of Apollo, all of that jazz. Bumblefoot, he's a virtuoso guitarist. I'm playing in his band. I have to learn like 20 or more songs while I'm on this tour, so I'm touring as soon as I get back home, because I'm the organizer of that tour. I'm playing in his band. And yeah, I'm not getting any help, so I'm like doing this all on my own, trying to make it work. And then straight after that, we tour Australia and New Zealand with Volvidinia. Then I'm back home for 8 days. Then we go back to Europe until Christmas, the whole of December, with Artspire, Beneath the Massacre, and Inferi, which is going to be a sick tour. It's going to be on a nightliner. It's going to be our third nightliner tour ever. We did one with Despised Icon last year, Fit for an Autopsy this year. I'm talking about Volvidinia, by the way, doing the nightliner tours. And then finally
nobody expects the other band to do that right now.
Yeah, no, so this is our first tour, obviously, but who knows where it will go. The response has been crazy, but yeah, we've got that tour in December. Then in January, I'm planning to go to NAMM in California. Then in February, we've got an African tour. Then in March, we're going to Asia. And then who knows what the rest of the year has in store. That's why I've asked the dudes, like, please, can I have time to write? Because we're touring so much that it's hard to just sit at home and like just clear your mind and be able to think clearly about the music you want to make and all of that. Because I could write music and rush it, but that's not what I want to do. I really want to do the best I can and put the most effort I possibly can into any album I'm gonna make. So
right, so listen, man, you're definitely my favorite metal hobo. Here, take the mic and then say something to your guys.
Okay, follow me on Instagram. You can find me at Kris Xen, so KRISXEN. I play in Volvidinia, Xavleg for short. By the way, just type in XAVLEG and our band name should pop up on Facebook, on Google or whatever. And then I play in an instrumental band called Technopath. We play like progressive fusion metal. I don't know what you would call it, but we play some crazy music, and we've got some new stuff coming with that band. That band's like my passion project, where I get to just let loose with my guitar playing and do everything I want to do. So keep an eye out for that, because we're working really hard and it takes us really long to write songs for that band. And there's new music coming soon, I promise. But yeah, find me on the internet. You can Google my name. My name's Kris Xenopoulos, and you spell my first name with a K and my last name with an X. If you just type in Kris X, You should find me. There's not a lot of people with that name, so cool.
Awesome. Very fine, very fine. And I will link to his public profiles down there in the description. And if you're kind of new to this channel and like his beard, do subscribe and share. And by the way, I've got a very awesome comment section down below. It's full of totally fucked up people, full of hate.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing at times, you know.
Tell us what your favorite project of mine is, and we'd love to hear that shit. So let me know if you dig what I do and you dig what he does, and leave it in the comment section below. We'll enjoy
And he's now available for a girlfriend.
Yeah, I'm single, so hit me up.